rank in California and number one rank in the West, right?
Yeah, when I was an amateur, I was the number one ranked in California and the number one ranked on the West Coast before I transitioned to pro. So, yeah.
Okay. So we know you as Terrance. Do you have a middle name, Terrance?
Yeah, my grandparents call me Zan Wang.
San Juan.
Zan Wang, yeah.
Okay. That's great. So tell us a little bit about your background, how you grew up, where you're from.
I grew up I was born and raised in Fairfield, California. I lived out here my whole entire life. We lived, my parents with my grandparents and a few of my aunties and uncles. And then after, when I turned 9, my dad got a house and it was just me, my dad, my brother, and sister. And then, yeah, now we all just still live together, still in Fairfield.
Okay. So growing up in Fairfield, how was it? Were you were you into sports and stuff like that?
Yeah, I wrestled from when I was 9 all the way through high school. After I graduated high school, I stopped. But I wrestled from when I was 9 all the way through high school, and it was probably like the best decision I ever made. It's definitely played a big part in who I am, and what the things that I believe in, and yeah, just me wrestling since I was 9 years old definitely is part of the reason why I am the way that I am.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about like your weight class and your division, to the people that don't really know.
So the weight class that I fight at is called flyweight, and it's 125 pounds and under, and yeah, so I'm kind of a small guy. It's for little guys. So.
And any like maybe in the future, maybe obviously maybe you might bulk up and maybe change weight class.
No, I don't think so. I think this is a really good weight class for me. Like my frame fits it really well, and I've trained with people that are professionals that fight a weight class above me, and they're just significantly bigger, and I would be fighting people a lot more my size if I stayed at 125.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you? How did you get into the sport? Did your family put you in like karate or martial arts?
My uncle Johnny.
Besides the wrestling,
Uncle Johnny put me in wrestling when I was 9 years old, and so if it wasn't for him, I probably would have never started training in MMA. Because like when I first started practicing wrestling, I watched like my very first UFC fight, and as a kid, like I was like, hey, that looks kind of fun. I want to try that one day, and it just never left the back of my mind. Like as I grew up, it just became something. I took my very first like kickboxing class when I was 23.
So
yeah.
So how old are you now?
27. I just turned 27 on Monday.
Okay. So when did it like became serious for you? As far as like, okay, this is something I want to do. I'm gonna train for it, and I'm gonna go fight somebody in a cage.
Well, when I first started training at the gym, I always knew that I wanted to be a fighter. Like I wanted to at least get some in, and I was helping my teammate get ready for his debut, and he ended up getting hurt like a couple of weeks out, and my coaches were like, you've been here the whole time helping him out. He's fighting at the weight class that you want to fight at. We think that you're ready. Do you want to go? And I told him at the end of practice, I was like, yeah, I think I'm ready. If you think I'm ready, then let's run with it. And I never really looked back ever since then. I fought in October, and then I fought in December, then I fought again in February. So like every other month, like when I very first started fighting. So yeah, it was definitely something that I've always wanted to do though.
So when your first fight came, how did that felt? Like, how was the experience for you on your first fight?
I thought it was a really good experience. Like I said earlier, I wrestled for a good from when I was 9 to 18, and in wrestling, it's kind of sort of the same. It's two people go onto a mat, and then it's just you two, and then you got like your coaches and the people that are there to support you. So as far as like going into an MMA fight, it's kind of sort of the same. It's two people going into a cage. You have your coaches, you have your teammates, and I was just confident that I would do fairly well because of the wrestling background, and yeah.
So I know you have like at least what 10 fights. Already?
Yeah, well, I have 9 amateur fights, and then this last fight was my professional fight. So once you make the transition from amateur to pro, your amateur record, it doesn't really matter. Once you go pro, you start back at 0-0.
So at this point, have you had any like major injuries that you had to cope with, and how did you deal with that?
Thankfully, no, nothing so like super serious. No, luckily.
Yeah. That's great. So who is your biggest inspiration?
It's gotta be my dad. Definitely my dad. The guy works 2 full-time jobs, and he does what he needs to do. Takes care of everything that he needs to take care of, and he doesn't ever fucking complain about it. So if I ever feel like I don't want to get up and go train, or I just unmotivated, I just kind of think about him, and I just think about what he's doing to support us, and the least that I can do is just get up and fucking go do what I love to do. So
that's great. So which team are you training with for your next fight?
I'm gonna be still with the same team, under the same team, Nobody MMA, and then it's at Train for Life in Sassoon. I do cross train a lot at other gyms. Like I'll go to other gyms for specific things. Like if I'm striking that week, I'll go to a specific gym to go strike with some of the different people. Or if I'm doing jiu-jitsu that week, I'll go to a specific gym and go roll with everybody. But as far as the team that I'll be representing, it'll be Nobody MMA.
What separates you from other fighters in your division?
I think that my fight IQ is a little bit more better than a lot of the guys in my division. People think that just because you're a fighter, like you're like dumb and you just want to just go out there and just swing as hard as you can and try to fucking knock each other out. I mean, it is kind of like that, but it's not the toughest person that makes it far. It's the smartest person that makes it far, especially in fighting. So I think that's what makes me or separates me from other people in my division.
Yeah, so like when we talk about fighting, a lot of people like when you compare a street fight to a cage fight, it's a little bit different, right? A street fight, maybe you're mad at the guy and you fight.
Yeah, there's also no rules in a street
no
fight
rules.
either. Yeah.
And then like you're done, maybe like 30-second minute. But in the cage fight, it's like you said, stamina, and you gotta conditioning and all that stuff, so that way you can fight the whole 3 rounds or 5 rounds, whatever it may be. So that takes a lot of like the conditioning in that part. So how do you prepare for fights like that, conditioning and all that, and the training part? How rigorous is it?
As far as conditioning, it's a lot of like fight specific stuff. Like we'll have like circuits, like one round, or like for a moment in time you'll be on the heavy bag, and then you got like to flip these tires, and then after that you got to do something else. So throughout the whole time in each circuit, or at each circuit, you're like going full blast, like all out as hard as you can the whole entire time. You're pretty much just looking to blow your lungs out and blow your arms out to the point where you can't really do it anymore. And then after that, we'll kind of slow it down and then just start drilling specific things. And then obviously sparring, running, lifting weights, it's all that other stuff too. So it's not just training and fighting the whole time. You got to get your road work in. You got to make sure that you're lifting. You got to make sure that you're eating right. Make sure that you're resting right and recovering right too.
Okay, great. If you had one dream fight with anyone, who would it be?
I don't know. Somebody that I don't fucking like. Somebody I don't like. I can't think of anybody right now. But yeah.
Okay. So what would you say your fighting style is?
I would say I'm like a freestyle fighter. It's not really like any specific thing that I'm like super heavy on. I feel like I'm pretty well balanced. I think I pose problems everywhere the fight goes, whether it's standing or grappling or in the clinch. So I'd say like freestyle.
And how I guess we already asked this question. How do you prepare for each fight? Is it each fight different?
So, kind of, sort of. Yeah, for the most part, like we'll have. So if I get an opponent and we'll do like film study on him, we'll watch film on him, and then we'll be like, oh, so he likes to do this, and you're really good at this, so we'll stop this and just get you better at the things that you do great. And they usually just tell me to just be myself, just fight like myself. That's pretty much it as far as game planning goes.
So for me, as somebody just like watching like fighters, MMA fighters, in my mind, I would think like that person is always training and always preparing for their next fight. I'm pretty sure like as a person, right? Everybody needs time for themselves also. What kind of activities do you like to do to get your mind off of, when you don't have to train?
Drinking beer, eating kasoi, and drinking Hennessy.
Just like every man folks.
Just like every
right?
man person, yeah. Yeah. Taking naps too. Naps are cool. Definitely like taking naps.
What kind of? Well, you say you're drinking beer. So what kind of beer you like to drink?
Cold ones.
Any particular brand?
As long as it's cold and it's open, I'll drink it.
Are you a dark liquor or clear drinker?
I like dark liquor.
You're dark. Okay, cognac probably. Right?
Cognac, yeah.
Okay. What kind of music are you into?
I like kind of like a mixture of everything, man. I listen to rap. I listen to like R&B. I listen to some older, like oldies. I listen to reggae. I'll listen to some rock. I have some heavy metal. Kind of a mixture of everything. I don't really listen to like one specific genre the whole entire time.
Not a lot of men songs?
Not really, nah.
Okay. Is there anything you wish people knew about you that they might not know about you?
Yeah, I'm a regular ass person. You don't need to fucking be starstruck when you see me. I'm just a regular ass guy, So don't be shy. If you see me and you know who I am, come up and say hi.
Yeah. So as kids, when we grow up, right, we all say, oh, okay, I want to grow up to be a doctor, I want to be a policeman, whatever. Was being a fighter something early in life?
Definitely. It was ever since I was 9 years old, actually. When I started wrestling, and then after I watched my very first UFC fight, that was always something in the back of my head, like that I knew that I wanted to do. So, definitely, yeah. I've always wanted to be a prize fighter or a cage fighter.
What is the best moment in your MMA career so far?
Definitely this past weekend, fighting for A1 and being exposed on UFC Fight Pass. I thought that was really cool, because it's not just the people that were there. I mean, UFC Fight Pass, there's a lot of people that subscribe to UFC Fight Pass, and instead of just hundreds of people watching me, it could have been potentially like millions of people watching. So definitely fighting and winning on UFC Fight Pass.
So what has MMA taught you?
It's taught me self-respect, respect for others, discipline, how to stay committed, be humble in victory and in defeat, and to just be yourself. Be yourself.
Do you have another fight schedule yet?
I'm looking at September, like maybe late August or early September. I think hopefully again for A1 Combat.
Okay. But you don't know who your opponent is?
Nah, not yet, no.
Okay. So, another question. So a lot of ladies out there probably wants to know this. Are you single or are you taken?
I'm taken. I have a girlfriend. Sorry,
Sorry ladies.
Yeah.
I asked the question for you guys, so don't say I didn't. So I thank you, Terrance, for for coming by and doing this interview. I'm sure I got like 100 other questions, but you know, you're busy guys, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. But go ahead and let you know, the men folks know if they want to sponsor you, or you know, look you up on Facebook, any social media that you want to share with them.
Yeah, so if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is at @fuckterrance. It's FVCK _TERRVNCE_. And then on Facebook, it's just my name, Terrance Saeteurn. And I just made a Twitter. I don't know if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, but I just made a Twitter. It's at WrongTurn125. So if you guys want to follow me on there, hit me up. DM me if you guys are interested in sponsors. I have packages and we can work something out maybe. Yeah, thank you.
Anything else you want to say to the men community out there?
Thank you guys for the support. When I started fighting, I never expected to have this many people like support me in the men community. So I mean, I think that's really cool. I appreciate it. Thank you guys, and I'm gonna keep going out there and doing what I love to do. Thank you, Mom. I love you. Thank you for always cooking and cleaning up after everybody. It doesn't go unnoticed. I love you, Mom.